Hello. Okay, subject today got me a little bit riled up. I was in a Facebook group for ADHD women, and there was someone in there talking about how she loves her partner, or she feels she loves her partner more than he loves her. And no matter what he says, she doesn't believe it. She thinks she loves him more. And she described her love as being bigger. And I thought about this, and I started to give her some advice because I felt that way for a lot of years. I don't know about a lot, but I felt that way early in my marriage for sure. I felt exactly what she was saying. And so as I started giving her all the advice, you'll see, we'll get to it. So the more I thought about it, the more I realized that what the problem really was that she doesn't love herself. And she was waiting for him to validate that she was lovable. And then even when he would do so, she still couldn't accept it. And so what she needs to work on is loving herself. So that, of course, she knows that he loves her no matter what he says or does. And so that whatever he brings to the table is just a bonus. And so that she doesn't need the validation from him or anyone else. And what's happening exactly with these situations? It's our insecurity. It's our disbelief that we are worthy of love, and that obviously some mistake has been made. From a coaching perspective, how valuable is that thought that you love him more than he loves you? How does that make you feel? And I kind of like ran that through a model, and it probably makes her feel pretty crappy. It probably makes her feel worthless or unloved. And when she's feeling that way, what does she do? She probably disconnects. She probably retreats. She gets needy, where, she needs him to say it or show it in some other way. And that's where she's asking for validation. She's not believing him when he gives her the validation. And the message that you're sending to yourself is that you're not worthy of love as much as your partner is. And so that's what she's thinking. And it's not ending up with a good result. And our power lies in our choice of thoughts and what we think is a choice. And I know some of you early to this work, you're like, nope, my thoughts are just coming. They're just happening to me. No, there is work that we can do to slow it all down, to catch it when it comes, to start to get onto yourself about what you're thinking and what you're doing. And I want to talk about a resource. So how do you go about loving yourself more? I know when I first was introduced to coaching, being coached, one of the first coaches I had, I gave her this big problem I felt I had, and she said, I don't care about any of that. What I need you to do is start loving yourself more. And I knew that was true because it hit me emotionally. And I mean, I had come a long way in my life from like those early days when I was needing that validation from my husband, that I was of value and lovable and worthy. But when she said that I was directing all my power to this problem, and she knew that the solution to that problem, she wasn't saying my problem wasn't a problem. What she was saying was, that problem will be solved if we solve this problem. And that is huge. And one really good resource that I want to offer you on this subject is, it's a free video on YouTube. It's from Louise Hay, and I'll put a link in the description because it is so valuable and so simple. And when you listen to it, it's a talk given live, and there's the sound of the crowd and all that. But if you buy the book on Audible, it will be the same exact thing. It's a talk given live. It is the exact same thing. So it's free on YouTube, and it's how to love yourself and heal your life. And the YouTube channel is called it's just called Great Book, not The Great Book. So I'll put a link for that for you. But I want to give you her points. Number 1, stop all criticism. It sounds so simple, right? And she said in the talk, she said, if you can do this one, all the rest will come. That one thing. You need to put your foot down with yourself. Sorry, I'm banging on the desk. Sorry about that. But in Instagram, I don't know if I already posted it this week or I'll post it soon. Like, what would life be like if you put your foot down and never allowed yourself to say anything bad about you? What would change? Everything, right? Number 2, stop scaring yourself. What are all those catastrophe thoughts that we have where we're scaring the crap out of ourselves all the time? That's anxiety, right? Scaring yourself. We all deal with it. And number 3, be gentle, kind, and patient with yourself. And that's where and I think I don't know anybody that doesn't do it. I'm sure you're out there. If you are, get in the comments. I want to be your best friend. But we all beat ourselves up, right? And that be gentle, kind, and patient with yourself. We cannot, and I tell this to my clients all the time, we can't beat ourselves anywhere. It might work for a little while, but you cannot sustain it. You cannot beat yourself into eating right. You cannot beat yourself into exercising. You cannot beat yourself into being a more loving person. You cannot beat yourself into anything for very long, because you will exhaust yourself and you won't sustain it. You just won't want to do it. It's coming from a negative place. So number 4, notice your thoughts. And that's where I'm talking about doing that work, right? It's where we all think that our thoughts just happen to us. They're just coming at us like arrows. It's arrows in the air, just all flying at our head. And once we learn to do that thought work, and once we work with a coach and we start pulling out those thoughts, or a therapist or whoever, then you start to notice what's happening. And you start to have patterns. We're very simple human beings, right? We start to notice those patterns. Oh, that's me thinking I'm not valuable. Oh, that's me thinking life has to be hard. That's mine. Oh, that's me thinking that I'm not a good person. Whatever it might be, you just start to notice it. And then if it's a negative thought, you just let it go. I describe it to my clients all the time. Like, sometimes those negative thoughts are like, mom, mom, mom. And until you look at that thought and you say, what can I do for you? And you look it in the eyes, then it's just going to keep bugging you. It's the same situation. So number 5, praise yourself. We talk about this in coaching all the time too, right? Be your own best cheerleader. Celebrate. I am as guilty of this as anyone. I don't celebrate the success enough. We need to celebrate our successes. We need to find the good. Number 6, support yourself. This includes asking for help. It might be working with a coach. It might be getting a therapist. It might be asking your friends for things that you need help with. We hate asking for help, don't we? But you need to learn to support yourself. Be loving to your negative habits and patterns. They are there for a reason. That is number 7. Be loving to your negative habits and patterns. So whatever that problem that I presented that coach with was a negative pattern of mine. It's there for me for a reason. It's doing something to help me. It's like my negative best friend that just wants to love me, just wants to keep me safe, just wants to protect me. I was just having a thought, because that was kind of the thought for when I started the YouTube channel, right? Ooh, people are going to see you. I don't know about that. And that's that negative best friend that's like, ooh, that's scary. You shouldn't do that. So number 8, take care of your body. We can be so destructive with our bodies. I mean, whether it's substances, whether it's not exercising, whether it's not sleeping enough, whether it's not resting, whether it's not drinking enough water. And one thing that she brought up in the talk was she's never met somebody hooked on a substance, on drugs, she was talking about specifically, that loved themselves. It's just, they just don't go together. And so number 9, be willing to learn to love yourself. Just be willing to learn. We talk about that as far as thought work all the time. I'm working on. I'm learning to. I don't like I'm trying to. That one's not as good, but I'm learning to. I'm learning to love myself. When you notice yourself beating yourself up, I'm learning to love myself. And the more you love yourself, the more you'll love others. And you'll stop trying to change other people. Because as long as we're beating ourselves up, we are so busy noticing all the things other people are doing wrong. If we stop beating ourselves up, if we go back to number one and we stop all criticism, our criticism of others is pointless. So in this advice that I gave this young woman on Facebook, it was also that she's 100% worthy. And if you're a client of mine, we've had this conversation, and I've told you you're 100% worthy, and I tell you I have proof. I may have talked about this in another video, but we'll talk about it again. And my proof is, when you see somebody on the streets, when you see somebody that is homeless, what have they done to deserve their worth today? Sometimes they're strung out on drugs. Sometimes they're drunk. Sometimes they're just homeless, but they're, mostly sitting by the freeway all day. What have they done to deserve to be worthy today? Nothing, right? But are they worthy? And what do you guys always say? Yes, of course they are. In fact, you want to help them. You want to do something for them, right? You love them. That's where that service comes from. You love them no matter what, because they are just intrinsically worthy. And that's how I know. And then what I say to the client, what I'm saying to you right now is, okay, so if they're worthy just the way they are, why are you different? What makes you worse than them? And that's something to really stop and think about. You don't have to do anything to be worthy. So we are always trying to be better, but what if we're just being more of who we really are? Because those negative patterns that we have aren't who we really are, right? When I believe the core of a human being is good. No one is born evil. You don't look at a baby and go, oh, that's a bad one, right? Something happens along the way to those exceptions. And they're exceptions to the rule. And I choose to believe that most people are good. And that is a thought that will serve you well. If you believe most people are good, guess what you will find in this world? You will find the good people, and that's who you want to find. And so I just wanted to bring up a little something that she talked about in the talk too, which is not something that I've tried, but I just want to offer it to you in case you don't watch the talk. I want you to have this piece of information. And what she talked about was mirror work. And she said every time she gets an opportunity in the mirror, she says, I love you. What can I do for you today to make you happy? And mirror work is difficult work. I don't know why, but I don't mind looking in the mirror, but for some reason, thinking about doing this mirror work makes me a little bit emotional. Maybe it's something I absolutely need to do. But another one that she said you can do in the mirror is, I forgive you. Think about that. How much stuff are we holding over our own heads? What if we could just say, I forgive you, and actually be looking at ourselves when we do it? Another opportunity, she said, was to say things to other people in the mirror. Is it your parents? Is it your friend? Is it somebody you've had a falling out with? Is it your boss? What can you say to those people in the mirror that doesn't have to go anywhere else? And what she said was, the mirror always tells the truth. So this is a very impromptu video. I just wrote a quick outline for it really fast, but this one really got to me. And I think it's because I've been exactly where she is, and I understand the journey. And whenever you're feeling like you love people more than they love you, you need to really look at yourself and see how much you're loving you. All right, guys, thank you. I appreciate you sticking with me this long. Go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already. It should be down below, and I will talk to you guys later.